It's Heritage Preservation Commission meeting to order. Neither snow nor rain nor the gloom of night will keep us away, right? So right now it's snowing if you're watching this later. And we pretty much, everybody came that could. Well, sorry, Margaret, you're at home watching, probably drinking some hot cocoa. But we do have a quorum. We can have a meeting. So roll call. On my right is
Richard Curry here.
Leon Axman.
Pete Boulay.
John Gaspar. Bob Cardinal.
All right. So we do have a quorum. Moving on to C, approval of agenda. Is there any changes to the agenda?
I'll approve I'll motion to approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, motion and second, approve the agenda. Say, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Moving on to D1, approval of minutes. In your packet should be the minutes from January 10, 2019.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
That's quick. Boy, you guys are quick. All right. There's a motion and second to approve the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
You got to name who made the motion, who seconded.
I think everybody, well,
I got it.
Bob made the motion.
I second.
Or you seconded. I just second there. Aye. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Approval. Moving on to E1, resolution of appreciation. Ginny, put some on the overhead.
I'll move that one. Approved.
Well, let's take a peek at it first, though.
She wanted to get done fast, didn't you?
Well, 6 years. 6 years?
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. Tonight we have before us a resolution of appreciation for Frank Gilbertson. Frank served on the commission, on the HPC Commission from October 2013 through last January 2019, just over 5 years. I especially remember him for his work on the 60 Stories of Maplewood History. He wrote several stories for that publication. He also was a tremendous help serving on the committee for the Ramsey County Cemetery designation. He did a couple presentations to the HPC, one on the value of history and why it was important. Another one was a pretty thorough presentation on when he attended the preservation conference last year on our behalf. He also led the committee on Wakefield Park, which collected information to be used in a video, and he assisted at special city events, the 60th anniversary and the Gladstone Savannah. So we have before us a resolution of appreciation for Mr. Gilbertson. I'm not going to read through it, but it was in your packet, and it's just heralding his good service, volunteer service for the city. So if the commission passes the resolution, this would then go to the city council at the next city council meeting, actually at the end of the February, I think it's 25th city council meeting, where they would also approve that resolution, and then we would have a nice copy made with signatures from the chair of our commission as well as the mayor. So with that, I'll turn it back to the chair.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. Leon, all those in favor of the resolution appreciation, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Try to be there on the 25th. Let's see what I can do.
Yeah, and it won't be necessary to be there for that unless we decide to do the other, that will be probably under the consent agenda. So often those are just done administratively. We certainly can be if anybody wants to be and if Frank would want to be, but typically it's a pretty easy part of the consent agenda.
Promise better weather that night.
Yeah.
It's almost the anniversary night of Maplewood, almost. It's 28th, right?
27th.
27th? February 27th? 1 day off, always 1 day off.
Oh, we could make it a two-day.
2-day
event.
festival? Yeah. No, we'll have to wait for another benchmark for that. All right, moving on to F1, 2018 Heritage Award.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. So the commission had a call for nominations for the 2018 Heritage Award, and 3 nomination forms were received, one for Robert Overby, one for Ron Cockriel, and one for Gary Bastian. So I want to remind the commission of this, the text on the award. This award recognizes an individual who has significantly contributed to preservation of Maplewood history or historic sites through research, preservation, or education and outreach. So we do, all of our candidates have really good additional community service, but we really want to look at the history component especially. So in your packet, you have some details on each of the candidates, and I'd like to go through those with you quickly. Robert Overby joined Maplewood Area Historical Society in December 1998. As a member of the Society's Save the Farm Committee, he helped lobby state legislators for money to help pay for moving the farm buildings to city property. After the farm buildings were moved in November 1999, he then helped prepare the house and get the barn ready for public use. And the farm opened to the public then in September 2000. He's represented Maplewood Area Historical Society at meetings of the Maplewood Heritage Preservation Commission, and he encouraged city leaders to apply for certified local government status so we'd be eligible for history and preservation grants. Mr. Overby encouraged the commission to inventory the city's neighborhoods to identify historic sites and structures. He wrote a plan to guide Maplewood Area Historical Society operations and to preserve the farm. And the society adopted that plan and continues to use it today. He served on the Maplewood Area Historical Society Board of Directors since 2000, including serving as president for 3.5 years. Ron Cockriel, he has helped with the what he calls the Big Three citizens' efforts to preserve our community's heritage, save our open spaces, save the barn, and save Fish Creek. Efforts to protect open space including working on the successful $5 million open space referendum. He supported open space programs with active participation on the Parks and Open Space Task Force, Maplewood Greenway Committee, 2020 Comprehensive Plan Task Force, and is a charter member of Friends of Maplewood Nature. And regarding preservation of open space, sometimes people ask me that question, well, is that history? And we certainly think that's part of our heritage. It's a big part of our legacy. He worked with others to save the barn on that whole Save the Barn campaign. He's been an active member of Maplewood Area Historical Society, working on several initiatives, opening the barn up for active programming, just about anything George, Carolyn, Char, and Bill needed. Landscape and garden plans for the farm, developed those with the Garden Club, and he was instrumental in bringing a National Preservation Conference to Maplewood and to the barn. Mr. Cockriel was HPC chair for 5 years, and during that time, the HPC had several accomplishments. They rewrote the mission statement, they planned and executed the 50th anniversary celebration, they developed the Century Homes program, they initiated demolition identification program, the commission developed the Heritage Award during that time, and they set the groundwork for the city to gain certified local government status. In addition, Mr. Cockriel has worked tirelessly in support of the Minnesota Legacy Fund referendum that would fund statewide preservation needs and efforts. And the city's received 3 grants through that Legacy Fund that he helped advocate for. Mr. Cockriel also led citizens' efforts on the Fish Creek initiative to save Fish Creek from development and to protect this natural wonder and significant archaeology of the site. He also participated in the archaeological digs at the site that yielded several artifacts. Mr. Gary Bastian is our 3rd nominee. He's a lifetime member of Maplewood Area Historical Society. He served on our city council, Maplewood City Council, elected in 1997, and then later appointed mayor in 1991, and again elected in 1993 and 1997. During his 17 years on the council, Mr. Bastian pushed for changes to the Maplewood Comprehensive Land Use Plan. He was a deciding vote for the community center. In favor of the community center, he was the first mayor to hold monthly mayor forums throughout Maplewood. He supported the request for $5 million in bonding authority for acquisition of open space. He proposed showing city council meetings from neighboring cities on the city's cable access channel. He pushed for a city arts commission to support local artists by showing art at City Hall. He supported the creation of wetland protections, tree preservation, and truth in housing ordinances, and a program to help senior citizens remain in their homes. He also was selected to serve on the Ramsey County League of Municipalities and the League of Minnesota Cities, and he was selected by City Council to study the organization of cable franchise, serving on the Cable Commission from 1991 to 1997. Mr. Bastian was appointed to the 2nd District Court bench in November 1997 and worked there for 21 years. He led his colleagues in keeping a suburban courthouse to handle local non-custody cases. He served in all 3 divisions of the district, civil, family, and criminal, and was the presiding judge in the family division. Mr. Bastian led the reformation of the juvenile criminal process called the Juvenile Detention Alternatives Initiative. He served on the Suburban School District Collaborative, and he served on the Criminal Services Defense Board, a nonprofit that provides criminal defendants with low-cost representations. So with that, I'll turn it over to the commission. We are asking tonight that you vote and make a recommendation to council, and then that award would either be presented hopefully March 11th or March 25th, depending on people's schedules.
Was any, do we get any nominations through the newsletter, city newsletter?
Yes, Mr. Robert Overby.
Okay, just curious.
So, I think that probably came through Maplewood Area Historical Society newsletter, but
I couldn't remember which. It's good to know that, it was good to get more, advertisement out there for it.
Yeah.
So. All right, there, commissioners, let's vote and we'll turn it in and we'll see what happens here.
and then I would add that Margaret.
It's been a very hard year to pick
Yes.
candidates. And Pete, I'm not going to pull what I talked to you about the other night.
Oh.
The one had started a lot of programs, and the last 3 councils have eliminated a lot of the stuff that he started for the city. So,
Well, it's good to have 3 strong candidates. I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
We should always have good candidates.
but it was hard. It was hard to pick because I've worked with all 3 of them
Well, yeah, that's
all
Are
the
we all?
time.
I
So
know.
it was like, okay, which one? And I was throwing darts today
Okay.
at a dartboard for mine because I see we lost with Gary. He started a lot of that the mayor's forum.
Well, you'll have to tell Gary there is an opening on the commission.
Yeah, but you also have the last 3 councils eliminated a lot of his programs that he started. The
Okay.
Cable Commission, the Mayor's Forum.
All right, let's
So,
turn in our
okay,
votes.
let's vote.
I do want to add to the commission that Margaret Fett, who's absent today, did vote via proxy,
Yes.
and Mr. Boulay will put her vote in.
I got her vote too. All right,
6 votes.
6 votes. I think that's everything. We're quick. We're nothing but speed. Let's see if we have 1 vote. 3-way tie. No, just kidding.
Two on each.
It's happened before.
Oh, yeah.
So we do have a vote. I'm going to turn this back over to the chair.
Okay?
We do have a clear winner.
Okay, good. All right. Okay.
Pass it down.
Okay.
Pass it down and.
Yeah, so we all see.
Okay. So it's,
Just pass them all down.
pass them all down?
Yeah. We'll know. Everybody knows.
Is that kosher to pass them all down? I mean,
Yes,
Everybody
it's
knows.
fine. The
It's-
commission has, I think, decided not to announce it publicly tonight, but the commissioners are certainly
No, we'll see.
eligible to
is
see.
everybody okay with passing it? All right.
Or, yeah.
There was a clear winner? We'll say that. And we'll find out very soon. I guess you'll have to stay tuned out there.
So staff will contact the winner and see when he's available
Okay.
to attend a council meeting.
All right?
You want to see him?
All right. So, start thinking of next year's candidates. It's never too early. We have 2 good ones. already. So if they want to be nominated again, of course. So moving on to F2, list of potential historic structures and sites.
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. Oops, so, yeah, I'm going to turn this off. So I didn't, I just included this in your packet tonight. This is, yeah, I included this in your packet tonight. It's just it's an update of what we talked about at the last commission meeting. And if there are any changes to that, sorry, wrong overhead is on here. There's no overhead for this. I just included that in the packet, and I'm happy to take any changes the commission may have to this. This is just we'll keep this running document of historic sites and try to review it every year. So with that, if there are any changes, I'm happy to take those.
Do we want to hold off on this until we have better weather?
Better weather. Which is just the, we're just looking at the,
It's
There-
just the list to.
it's just the list,
It's
right?
just the list. It's
Yeah,
not, there's
we've
no
already
real
talked about it.
action
No action.
required.
No action, yeah.
Our-
Right?
yeah.
Are we supposed to do any action?
Discussion.
Just discussion, right? Or-
It's just discussion. If
Oh,
there are any
okay.
changes to the list, we're not doing anything with any of the properties. We're not highlighting them or picking any of them to work on. It's just, here's our ongoing list of potential historic
Oh,
properties.
discussion, okay.
Under private, what is origination?
That's the that FPS site, that old bulk feed, bulk products site.
Oh, okay. Always forget.
The gold line I see on the top of F1, I watched the council segment, and they got more than what we had the last time saw it, what was it, last month or so, in there. They got a bridge going across 94.
Wow. Okay. Does anybody see any omissions or something that needs to be changed? I didn't see anything myself.
Mr. Chair,
Mr. Cardinal?
you know, I don't know if this be covered, you would know,
Yeah?
but we have a park system from Keller through, Jarvis, which is Maplewood. Jarvis to Keller, to Spoon, to Keller, to the creek, to Phelan.
Okay.
That's quite a park system.
Okay.
I don't know where that would fall in here, but.
There's parts of it, like the Keller Creek Dam is on there.
Chair and Commissioners, I think we should amend the very bottom of the last page of that. It says city parks and preserves. We should add city parks and city and county parks and preserves.
Okay,
Oh, there we go. Yeah, there you go.
yeah.
That's a good one because Janice Quick did the linking of the lakes,
Oh, yeah.
and there's a lot of history there linking the lakes. So
Well,
yeah,
Yeah, because it goes from Jarvis over to Coleman.
yeah, we got that.
And then it
too.
goes into, was it the,
Maplewood. It's all Maplewood.
the 18 stream or whatever? It was a sewer line from North St. Paul. It comes through where Beam is,
Yeah, but
Markham Pond.
I don't see anything else. I don't know. So I guess we don't vote or anything. It just
No, I think this is the list that we can use when we move to decide on what projects we should work on, especially for local designation.
I have a question. Mr. Chair,
yes.
how does the future selling and redevelopment of the Hillcrest Golf Course get
Oh.
included in this list? Because that's been a very public matter, but I haven't heard yet what exactly they're going to do with that piece of property.
No, I wish we could annex it. It's, unfortunately, it's not in Maplewood, the Hillcrest Golf Course. That's St. Paul, that corner. But you raise a great point. There's a lot of history there. I don't know if St. Paul's going to do anything.
I
There-
apologize.
Yeah.
It runs right up into,
It-
McKnight.
Yeah, it's close, you know.
But not,
Not
touching
Maple-
doesn't count.
No, but I tell you what, no,
I buy it every day.
because the history of that is pretty fascinating stuff. I'm trying to think of anybody, do we have any liaison with the city?
Well,
of St. Paul?
aren't you liaison to the Ramsey County
Yes,
Historic?
yes.
That would be our foot to get
Yeah, I could bring it up to him. Yeah, I'll send him a
to
note.
push St. Paul.
Could you take a picture of the clubhouse next time you're by there?
Sure, it's
'Cause-
even boarded up.
I know, I was gonna say, that looks like it's getting ready to get rid of it, so,
Is it boarded up?
yeah.
And unfortunately, it was redone not too many
Yeah,
years ago.
yeah, it was pretty
It's
good, yeah.
basically a new facility.
Yeah, it's pretty new. Yeah, I'd like to know more about that. I'll talk to the county and see if they're interested in that.
Maybe we could annex it and
I don't-
for tax base on the new development.
That would be interesting.
That would be city
But I
council.
would think that would be the way to go, would be through, have you,
Ramsey County, I'll put a note. That's a good point.
because we got,
Ask
we
Ramsey
we
County.
should push Ramsey County a little bit, we kind of sit back and, okay, whatever.
Well, it'd be a good article for their magazine, although I don't dare to bring it up. They'd ask me to write it. So, I'd love to hear more about. I've heard some about it. I know there's been some article on it, how it got its start and everything. About Hill. Did you ever golf it?
I did not.
Anybody here golf?
Yeah.
Was it a good course? No.
I think that was just because the golfer didn't get a hole in one.
Yeah, was it the golfer or the course? That's what I wonder. Yeah. So. Okay, well, if we have any memories of Hillcrest, looks like Bob, you might. I do, too, of course.
John lives about a half mile away.
Yeah. Well, if you have any memories, it'd be kind of fun to put them together. I'd be okay with that, even though we're Maplewood. I think it'd be kind of fun. If you got any memories of the golf course other than?
No, but years ago, and this might be just an interesting little tidbit, McKnight and the bridge over the railroad was only completed in sometime in the early 90s. So all of McKnight that borders Maplewood was redone. You used to drive down to
Yes.
a T stop sign past Hill, and then they rediverted that.
87 or 88, I think they built it.
Yeah.
3M paid for that bridge.
Did they?
Really.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's some history.
I didn't know that.
Train tracks?
Huh. Okay, it's a nice bridge. My initials are on there, on the concrete. Have to look real hard, but, okay. That's,
So you were one of the
it's wet cement, you can't pass it up, Okay.
taggers.
Yeah,
as they
yeah.
say.
All right, well, so no other additions, even though I'm sure I'll think of some later. That's
Well, we can
not
always
long
bring
of a
it
list
back.
for now, yeah. Okay, so moving on to F3, 2019 goals. We have goals, we have lots of goals.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. So at the January Commission meeting, the Commission brainstormed several possible goals for 2019, and tonight we'd like to refine those and ideally approve them, and so we can start working on them. So as we're looking at them, because we have so many, I do want to encourage the Commission to think about priorities. Which of these are must-dos, which would be nice to do, which might wait another year. And then some of these will take work, a lot of them will take work outside the commission meeting, so that will also determine whether we have people that want to work on them. So as we go through each one, it'll be nice to identify whether people are interested in working on that or not. So I have broken them into categories: preservation and planning, research and documentation, education and outreach. So starting at the top, complete the work on the local designation for Ramsey County Cemetery, and that's well underway. I actually talked with the county again today, and he sent our paperwork over to their attorney to make sure that there won't be any issues with it for the county. And so if the attorney's okay with it, then we would be taking that to their Parks Commission, and then it would go to the Board of Ramsey County Board of Commissioners before it would come back to our city council.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, that is the farm on White Bear Avenue, right?
Bob,
Oh,
talking
I'm
to your
sorry.
mic.
I'm sorry.
Which, were you talking about the Ramsey County Cemetery?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, okay. So we should identify that more a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, the official name is Ramsey County Cemetery, but you're
Oh, it
right.
is.
It helps people to understand if we say
Yeah.
at the Poor
Yeah.
Farm.
Yeah.
So, but I do think that's a must-do. That will come before the commission, but the commission won't need to do work outside the commission meeting on that unless one of the commissioners helps us do the presentation to their Parks Commission. Number 2, prepare an application and designate one new historic site. Number 3, submit a grant and begin additional survey work on historic sites and structures. Under research and documentation, the things the commission came up with was to document history of important buildings in the Gladstone area, to document the history of Maplewood Parks, to document history of Maplewood Mall, and to take photos of buildings that are likely to be removed. Under education and outreach, some of the ideas were to make a recommendation for the 2019 Heritage Award, to complete the text and review the sign for a Lookout Park, to help support our communications department with historic information for any videos that they're creating. They're likely to create something for Wakefield Park and potentially something for the Gladstone area. To develop an auto tour or walking tour of significant historic sites in Maplewood. To partner with Maplewood Area Historical Society on a program or project. And our city staff is looking at doing an event at Gladstone Savannah this year, so that could be a partnership program for us. To have a call for photos in our city newsletter, just to gather more photos of a specific topic or a specific time period, and to honor the oldest living resident. And with that, I'll turn it over. In your packet, everything was done kind of as a chart, so I think it would be helpful for the commission to go through each one, identify whether you think it's a priority and whether you'd be willing to work on it if it needs outside the commission work, whether you'd be interested in working on that. So with that, I'll turn it back to the chair.
Commissioners have thoughts on priorities?
You want to start with number 1 and just
Oh,
on the list again?
yeah.
And
Well, obviously, number 1 is already number 1, right? So, I mean, it's on its way, kind of thing. How about 2, prepare application, designate one new historic site. So this would be during 2019, or is that right? So the Ramsey County Cemetery would.
On number 2, prepare an application. What I'm afraid could happen is you could get 2 or 3 people wanting to put their place on the list. I do not want to postpone them because we got 1. If we got 2 or 3, we could do 2 or 3 sites.
Well, we can always take them on a case-by-case basis if somebody wants to,
Because
you know.
we've lost one because they were told too long. We weren't ready.
Okay. Well, if anybody comes forward with another one, I mean, you know, we can always.
I'll remind the commission that as a certified local government, we do need to strive to designate one site each year.
Yep.
And so we were really working hard on the Ramsey County Cemetery site last year. It spilled over into this year. And so the commission really should seriously consider
You're not
Sorry
talking
about
up loud
that. My
enough.
line was off. The commission should really seriously consider whether they want to try to start working on another site, a new site this year.
I agree, we should put one site designate, but if there's more of them, we should put more, let more go and
Well,
do
if
it.
there's, I mean, if
Be a
more
little
come
bit
up.
more work, well, we have another, call another meeting
we'll,
another day.
I guess we'll, there's no limit.
Comes across.
Yeah, there's no limitation to it. Let's just start with one and see how that goes, and we'll go.
Well,
from
we've
there.
been trying to do one, and
It takes a long time to do these. It's surprising how long you have to, it takes a while, and that's fine. We got to, just knowing the history of the site takes a long time. It's not like you snap your fingers and a history appears out of nowhere. So
well, some of those sites, we do have quite a bit of
you
history on.
got some, yes, but not all. It's surprising how much you got to do on them. But yeah, I mean, obviously that should be a 1, right? We got to do it.
From a staff perspective, it would be good to start another site this
Yeah.
year.
So we'll have to start thinking of another site.
So staff can bring that back with, with the list that we looked at tonight, and
Yeah.
at another time, we can start that process by identifying a site, but then we would need a committee to work behind the scenes to pull that application together.
Okay. Okay, so that'll be 1. Submit grant, begin additional survey work on historic site and structures. Ever since Brenda left, we've kind of lost our grant person a little bit, so I don't know if it.
Staff worked hard on that grant with her,
Yeah.
and we've written other grants. Staff has also written grant for the Gladstone signage and
Okay.
things. So staff's
Yeah.
completely capable of doing that when there's time, so.
Well, I'm always in favor of it, of course, but
And the other
is something
thing,
that-
I'm thinking,
Sorry.
do we have the deadlines of when the,
I think the next one's due in April.
okay? Yes, Mr. Cardinal.
We've got a gal at the Circle Society, Joy.
Yeah?
We have a operations manager at the Historical Society at Brintrup Farm, and Joy Donnelly is very capable of writing grants, so she could assist Jenny.
Okay. It helps to have somebody with that, that's done grants before to help us out.
Yep.
It just kind of helps us. Well, yeah, grants are nice to have. We didn't make the last one, right? Is that what happened? I'm trying to remember what happened the last.
No, we've received most of the grants we've written.
We have, okay.
History grants, yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know. That's either a 1 or a 2. I mean,
Yeah.
almost everything I put is a 1, but 2 would be nice to do, I guess, and we don't. Yeah. Anybody else? 1 or 2? So going on to research and documentation, document history of important buildings in the Gladstone area. If we can do it, I'd like this 1 because we're going to start losing them. So, you think that's a 2? What do you think? So 1 and 2. What do you guys think? The rest of you? I see a 1. What about you, Richard?
yeah, 1, because if we designate them, sometimes they have to go through a little bit more hoops to tear them down.
Well, this is just documenting, not designating. So, start with the first part. John, what do you think?
It's a 1.
A 1? I guess that's a 1. Maybe a 1.1? I don't know.
Everything is a 1.
It's a 1. It's number 1. 5, document history of Maplewood parks.
Can.
That's something we can wait, even though it's a. I put a 2, but it looks like you got a 1.
Can.
That's a 3. 1, 2, 3.
Can.
Didn't we put a fair amount of importance, Mr. Chair, on that
We
in our
did.
last meeting?
Yeah. It was,
That was an avenue we wanted to go down?
can we have 1 on everything?
I grouped these because I thought it was important. They're all kind of similar. They're
Yeah.
pulling together histories. So I think out of the 4, 5, 6, and 7, the commission should really take a look and see who's willing to work on each one. And if you have someone willing to work outside the commission on each one, go for it. But
Yeah.
if we don't, I think we need to drop 1 or 2 of them and just focus on 1 or 2.
Yeah, it's a big job. that one's a big one. To document the history of Maplewood Parks that's
Yeah.
a lot.
Long-term.
It's a long term. I mean, I wanted.
I mean,
think
it's something the commission could start on,
Yeah, that's true.
but you might want to weigh that against the importance
One
of
or
doing
two.
Gladstone or doing the mall.
Yeah, that's true. What would be more like it ties in with 6, the mall or the parks? I don't know. We always want the history of the mall, and we never seem to get it off the ground. So we get a few tantalizing, tidbits, but we do, I guess we kind of have a history of the mall already, but it always seems like we need more to it. Mr. Cardinal?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think that mall is changing dramatically. There's a lot of, if you go into it right now, there's a lot
Yeah.
of changes.
I don't know, what does everybody else think there? It's
I know if you go in their office, they got pictures of the mall.
They do?
Back when it started.
well, I wish we could get copies of the pictures.
So as Mr. Cardinal was saying there, we are doing the North End study, and
Oh,
so
that's
they're
true.
going to be changing that. I mean, they're coming up with a vision for that whole northern area, so it would be wonderful if the history is better understood of that area.
Yeah, that'd be good. That's a good point. You could kind of get that looped in there. Take photos of buildings that are likely to be removed. I suppose that's always a one, because it's not like you can't wait.
So the city will continue to do the ones
Yeah.
where there's demolition permits. So this was specifically for commissioners to go out and take pictures of buildings they were concerned about. I hoping the commission's willing to put some names
Oh, names of
besides
who's
each
gonna
of
do it?
these.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
if you
yeah.
want me to bring it back next time, but I feel like without names by these, they're not going to happen.
That's gonna
And
be a little harder
maybe
to
we
do,
shouldn't
isn't it?
set them as goals if we don't.
Well, I'll take as many photos as I can. I mean, the problem I have is every time I think of a photo, I'm 10 minutes too late. We just missed another opportunity. See if anybody can guess what we just missed out on. We should have taken a picture of. Who's gonna guess it? It's gone. It's already gone.
Oh, at Gladstone, the warm shack or what?
Oh no, I
we
took
have
pictures
that-
of the
we have
warming
that.
house. Now that we got. The Super America is gone. It's now Speedy.
It's now Speedy.
So why didn't I take a picture of it when it was still Super
But it
America?
has been Speedy for quite a while.
Not that long. I mean, it was
Months.
this summer. Yeah, I'm saying this summer I could have got a picture of the old Super America, and by the time I thought of it, it was too late.
Well, the cabins too on
We got
61.
pictures of the cabins. We got those. So the cocktail sign I got. So put me down as that. So, but the problem is I don't think of it sometimes until it's too late. There is one Super America still a Super America. I don't know why they haven't changed it yet. It's the
It
one.
might not be a company-owned
Maybe
deal.
not. It's the one by on Lafayette Road by the PCA and the Unity Gospel Mission. So if you ever,
Oh, that's
still Super
that's
America.
owned by Cath Oil.
is that why it's still Super America? Okay.
You could go on Google Earth,
Huh?
and it'd all be Super America, yeah.
What now?
You could take the pictures off of Google Earth,
Yes,
Super
but they're not as
America.
they're not as good though. The Google pictures are okay,
but you can get them.
but you can get them. That's a good
On
point.
Payne
If you-
Avenue,
if you
there's
find
a-
any- I just want the Maplewood one, not Payne Avenue one.
Well, there's a SA there.
yeah,
It's all
there's one on
closed
Arcade
up,
too,
boxed
but,
up.
I only want the Maplewood stores, But if you think of it, could you grab that Google shot for me? Yeah, because you could go through Google history now too, so you can get a few more of those. But that's what we gotta think
Dagy's
of.
landscaping over there on Century Avenue, they've changed hands, and now it looks like it's up for sale again.
So, I don't know.
Over by
more
the
pictures,
Nature
right?
Center.
No, it's hard to keep up. Ann Fosberg was really good at this. She was out there everywhere getting pictures. So that's something we'll have to be in contact with the Maplewood Historical Society and see if they've already got a picture of some of these things. So, but if we know when something's going to be removed, maybe we'll try to do a little better job. I took a lot of pictures of the Gladstone House, interior, exterior, and I know Bob Jensen has pictures. So we can do what we can, I guess. So
So far on, as definite yeses, I have number 1, 2, 3, and 7.
2,
I'm-
3.
I do
7.
feel like, in order to be realistic, the commission should pick maybe one between 4, 5, and 6, unless there are people that want to work on more than one. So these are things that staff isn't able to do all the behind-the-scenes work and bring it to the commission to report on. We're happy to work with you in committee to develop this.
Well, number 4, we got to do it.
Okay,
There's 2 buildings that probably won't be there in a year already. So
okay.
we're not going to be able to do that one later, I
So
guess.
I'll bring that back, and we can decide another time who
Yeah.
wants to work on that, unless people want to
I mean, I'll do what I can. I want
Okay.
help on it. I'll do.
Should we set up a committee tonight then, or do you want to wait on that?
It's always hard to do committees for me, too.
It can be 2 people, and you
Okay.
can work it out, or you can start the work alone,
Well,
if that's easier.
Bob, this is something we got to work with
Bob on.
Bob on, because
That
Bob's
sounds good.
already got a lot of this
Okay,
stuff.
so I'll put Pete down for
Work with
spearheading
Bob.
this.
Yeah, I'll because Bob had a lot on. Which building was it? Oh, the Gladstone House. Was it?
Yeah, and we have, between your pictures and Bob's and other information provided, I thought it'd be nice for one of you to do, or for you to do a joint presentation to the
Yeah.
commission on the material we have
that's a
so
good idea.
far. It's
Oh,
pretty
that'd be
interesting.
great. Yeah.
Maybe next time?
Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah. Okay, moving on to.
So shall we skip 5 and 6 and not put those down for
Well,
this year?
Yeah, I mean, unless somebody here wants to spearhead one of those. Wipe them out. We always can bring them back. So we're just doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7 so far.
Yep.
Okay. Moving on to 8. That's done.
That will be done. That
Okay.
should say 2019 Heritage Award, and that's easy enough to do for staff to bring before the commission. So.
Well,
that's-
9's an easy one because that's almost done.
Yeah,
So we've already got the text.
yeah.
We're still
We just
holding
need to flush out the text or
Yeah.
the photos a little more.
And there could be more coming in too.
For Lookout Park?
No, for 8,
Well, that would be the 2020 Heritage
no,
Award.
it'd be, 20,
I'm sorry, your packet is wrong. It should be 2019
2019.
Heritage Award that
okay,
in
well then,
December we'll start.
2020 deal.
Start that.
But for Lookout Park, that's something definitely I can't
Okay,
remember the
good.
text. Still hold out on a better picture.
Yeah.
Postcards of Phelan would be fun. There's plenty of those.
Yep.
So. Well, we gotta meet somehow in the summer at Lookout Park. Because does anybody know where Lookout Park is? Because it's easy to miss. It's this tiny little thing, you know. Is there anything there right now? Is there a bench or something
Oh,
there?
there's a beautiful bench and beautiful plantings.
Okay.
It's sweet. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
We should hold one of our nightly summer meetings there.
Yeah, we've done that before. It's been a while since we had a summer meeting. That's kind of fun. We go out somewhere.
We'd
See a
have to get
sign.
the camera guys to bring their camera and mics and what have you.
Yeah, there you go. A truck. Can you bring the remote truck?
No,
No.
Maplewood pulled out of the cable commission.
Right.
We don't
I
have
walked
trucks.
right into that one, didn't I? All right. Let's go on to 10. Videos. Maplewood's Communications Department would like to include historic information and videos it hopes to create in 2019 on Wakefield Park in the Gladstone area. They may need the HPC's help pulling together additional photos and information on this area. So that's kind of ongoing right now.
It's kind of ongoing. We've
So-
provided some information, and if they carry through with it, they'd like our support. I think it's not important to put a committee down here. I think if we just include this as a goal, if it comes up, we'll find somebody to help them.
Okay. It's a 3? It's a Bob. 11, develop an auto tour or walking tour of significant historic sites in Maplewood.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
we talked about that at Historical Society,
Oh.
and that's something we could probably work together on.
Well, we could still have that as a. Do they really want to do it?
I think there's mention of that yesterday.
Okay, well, we could put a 1 and put MAHS
Yeah.
as the committee on that one. If they, I mean, I got my walking tour. Is that what they want to start with, or are they thinking of something bigger?
Good start.
Or the 60 stories,
60 stories.
they already have a
Yeah.
tour in there. They just have to flush it out a little more. And I did a tour once for the commission, didn't I, Ginny?
We did a nice commission tour.
Yeah.
We took the van and went to several spots,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Did I write something up for that?
I don't think we did. I think we were pretty casual.
Okay. Trying to remember now. So there could be a lot of fodder to do a tour.
Let's keep just moving. If you guys want to be home at 8 o'clock.
We'll make it. 12, partner with the Maplewood Area Historical Society on a program or project, like number 11.
Those together.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Time together.
C11?
Yep.
Well, I hope to coordinate more than that with them, but I miss them being here for a presentation, too. Okay, call for photos. The HPC may want to highlight a theme for the year, encourage residents to submit historic photos rated in that theme. That's a good one, too. That's ongoing.
That could be pretty simple. Staff could just put something in the commission could decide on topic and things, and staff can put something in the city newsletter.
I got one right away. Photos of the Happy Wanderer. I know there's got to be 1,000 pictures of the Happy Wanderer. Does anybody know Happy Wanderer? It's the puppet wagon that used to go around Maplewood. And I know every mom took pictures of their kids in front of the Happy Wanderer. So that'd be a good one.
Department should have a whole bunch of them.
Well, I don't know.
Up
Do
there.
they? Jenny? They might.
In a
I
file
don't-
cabinet. They're supposed to keep all that information,
Well,
you
they
know.
might not have taken pictures of the Happy Wanderer. So is the Happy Wanderer still out there somewhere?
No.
The church had it for a while. They redid it as the Faith Wanderer or something like that. So, yep, okay. I digress. Okay, so yes, that's a 1. 14, honor oldest living resident. So who found the oldest resident so far? Bob?
Do that. No, we have to do that.
I have one that's 95. You have to beat that one.
Okay.
Yep. Lives in the Phelan senior housing. Sure,
All
yeah.
all you'd have to do is walk through any of the senior places, and you'd probably find some of them.
Well, Richard, I'm looking for somebody to beat me for 95. Can you do that?
Well, if it would have been a few years ago, I would have had Cecil
Well, yeah. I don't
and
know.
his father.
Let's make that a monthly goal.
A monthly goal? Well,
Yeah, because they could pass off by the time we get to
so
recognize them.
basically what we need to do is a date, a deadline, when we'd honor the resident, though. So how far in advance are we thinking here, and what would it be? You know, do the
You gotta honor them before they.
Yeah.
well. That's why we have to have a date.
So we don't have to decide that tonight. We just tonight have to decide if that's a goal that we're
We
going to do
could
this year.
submit their names at a future meeting
Yeah.
with a little bio.
Chair.
Yes,
It's like the 4th of July.
4th of July.
Yeah.
So the problem is, think of this through. When we find this oldest person, they might not be very mobile. So on the 4th of July, we'd have to go to their.
Okay.
Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah,
I think a lot of people might not be able to go there on the 4th of July, though.
Oh, you mean us as a?
Yes.
Yes, I think that, well, we could coordinate something.
Okay.
Yeah.
They got some rigs that could get them there.
Wouldn't that be a treat if we could establish some
We'd have to
tradition?
elicit some other departments of the
it's-
city.
It's something to talk about, but I threw it on the gauntlet. You got to beat 95. You got to beat that.
895.
Yep. It's not me.
All right. Oh, no.
So
93, right?
I'm only 93. So
Months, that is.
okay. Well, that takes care of that, I guess.
So I think the commission's done an excellent job of going through this and tossing a couple. So if you're happy with the ones you've come up with, I do recommend that you approve them tonight. If
Okay.
you do approve them tonight, then they would go into our annual report, which has already been approved, and so that would be ready to submit to council.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve our goals, 2019
So
goals?
moved.
Okay. We have a-
Second.
We have a motion and a second. So who made the motion? Leon made the motion. Richard made the second. All right, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We have goals. We should have them all done by March, right? No? So I think that's the end of our
Visitor
business.
presentation, there is nobody.
No visitors.
Commission
No
presentation?
commission presentation. Any staff presentations? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Don't move.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Record time.